If you thought that we're done with Pisces and Virgo, I can assure you we're not done. We're not done. The eclipse series that's been happening in the signs of Virgo and Pisces are not quite over until the nodes actually move into two different signs. And that doesn't happen until July 2026. So we have one more Virgo lunar eclipse in March. We're not quite done with this eclipse series. The most intense of it, the sort of peak point, was this September. And if you weren't rattled by it in any shape or form, trust that there's an unfolding of massive change coming your way. So much of this eclipse series has been about letting go of control, leaning into faith, having to surrender to the things that we cannot control, and also being a bit more structured or disciplined about things that we want to actualize. And this is a delicate balancing act in some shape or form playing out in a certain part of our life. You may want to look at where Virgo and Pisces is in your chart. You also want to look at where the other two mutable signs are, so Gemini and Sagittarius, because they're impacted as well. Really, my message to anybody with predominating Virgo energies is to cultivate a practice of absolute self-compassion for yourself, because this has been a very intense eclipse series with a lot of other things going on in the sky that's been impacting you and really pushing you out of your comfort zone. And also Pisces, because so much of that north node in your sign has been a call to action towards actualizing, whether it's your calling, your purpose, the things, your goals, your desires. But what's been particularly aggravating here, we're getting retrograde Saturn right now sitting in the sign of Pisces, and Neptune will be joining it in October, at the end of October. And I really think this is adding the tension in the mix of where the eclipses are already happening, and we are being called to pay attention to those parts of our chart, especially Pisces and Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius. There is a reality check that comes with Saturn sitting next to Neptune, which is a planet that has us dream of possibilities, or perhaps has us delusional about things that we cannot actualize. And so the two of them together bring like a potential, a possibility. So Saturn and Neptune stay in the sign of Pisces where the north node is. They stay there until February. So again, we are not quite done until March, around March, where this like massive lesson that Virgo and Pisces are bringing to us is going to continue to have us transform, to change, depending on how open we are to transforming and changing. So much of astrology is about self-awareness, radical self-awareness. So much of it is about shadow work. So much of it is about accepting difficult truths so that we can integrate so many things that we are avoiding, are pushing down further within ourselves. And we're meant to kind of face these things, to heal them, to change, to transform for our greater good, which then spills out into the collective. And to those with prominent Gemini placements, what a time for y'all. With Uranus having entered Gemini for the first time in 7 years, starting a new cycle in Gemini. And right now it's retrograde in your sign, and it will move back into Taurus again. Right now it's in your sign retrograde, honestly, really stretching Gemini to change its perspective in some shape or form. It's whatever attachments it has to thoughts and ideas and perspectives and a mindset that is no longer aligned, something that is outdated, something that is possibly harmful, and it needs to go. So Uranus is putting the pressure on. It's a 7-year journey in that regard. But right now, retrograde and being new in your sign for Gemini, this could be rattling. It can also be absolutely exciting because Uranus in Gemini brings the promise of something new in how we're perceiving our reality and the changes we make to possibly manifest different realities, through starting to see things differently in order to change them. And in the sign of Taurus, where it was for the last 7 years, since 2019, it has been a lot of upheaval around themes of safety, stability. Taurus, being more of a conservative energy, is not happy with Uranus there, causing it to stretch beyond its comfort zone. And that has been a whole lot for Taurians. And there's going to be a little bit more to sort of reckon with, to heal, to resolve, to pay attention to when Uranus does go back into Taurus for 5 months. So starting in November until April. And what's rattling to Taurians is going to be rattling for the rest of the fixed signs. So Leo's been going through it because of Pluto. So wherever fixed signs are, and that is Taurus, that is Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, with the return of Uranus retrograding back into Taurus, expect the unexpected, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing. But there is something over the last 7 years that needs to find its resolution, or needs to mirror something to you, or it needs you to acknowledge something. For the cardinal signs, for Aries, for Cancer, for Libra, and as well for Capricorn, it may feel a bit lighter because y'all have been going through it before this moment. And now with Jupiter in Cancer, where it's been for a while and it stays until the spring, I think that the cardinal signs are receiving a bit of a reprieve, whatever that means. But it's a time to integrate all the changes that have happened. So Jupiter in Cancer offering potential possibility, hope to integrate and to embody the changes that have come your way, all the turbulence. As always, the details lie in your own natal chart. So have a look at your chart with all those things that I mentioned, or you can always book a one-to-one reading to go a little bit deeper into the current transits. Things are particular and unique to us depending on when we were born and what our own internal energies hold for us. So what's being mirrored to us is always going to be specific to us based on our chart, and not just generalized through our sun sign or our rising sign. So it's a good way to get a sense of what's going to be happening, but also delve into your chart for more details.